Hi, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sri.
And we're Double Disappointments. All right, Sri.
Yeah.
For today's episode, we are talking about a very known experience,
Oh, yeah.
which is growing up with immigrant parents.
For sure.
So I want to start off with just like, how were your parents growing up? What were the rules? What were the vibes? Like, how was it?
Yeah. No, I grew up with very, like, that traditional immigrant experience,
Okay.
Desi experience of, like, having pretty strict parents.
Hmm.
And thing is, I didn't really know it at first because I was like, oh, no, everyone's raised like this.
Yeah.
Everyone can't leave their house on, like, a Saturday or 2 days in a row, you know? And then I realized, like, in high school and in college, especially because I stayed home for college, like, no, I grew up in a really strict household where, like, going out too much wasn't promoted, you know, and going out with especially someone of the opposite sex was no. Like, why are you doing that? And then even with like clothes and like pursuing certain subjects or aspirations wasn't as lenient. And so
Okay.
I grew up with a very traditional household of like, this is what our parents, like my grandparents, expected from us. And yes, we've moved to America and some of that's adapt, but some of it's like actually very much the same.
Yeah.
And we want you to follow this, like, oh, perfect Asian child experience. Like, this is the path to success. This is what you're going to do. So that's how I was raised. And there wasn't like set rules like, oh, you have to be home by 10 p.m. Because first of all, you weren't leaving the home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like an unsaid rules, the unsaid culture, and like the expectations were there pretty heavily. Yeah.
How was that kind of realizing like this ain't normal? Like this, like in the sense that like not everyone's parents are like this.
Yeah.
Was it like a certain like friend that you saw that was like, wait, your parents are letting you do this? Like, how did you kind of come about that?
Oh, see, most of my friends also grew up the same way,
Right.
in one way or another.
Yeah.
But I guess it was seeing like white people and being like, oh wait, like you can wear a crop top, like the fuck, like your parents let you do that, and then like I wasn't able to. I was like, okay, so it's very different. And for a long time, I just thought it was a cultural thing, and then now meeting a few more like, you know, children of immigrant parents, I'm like, wait, no, it's like it really is house to house.
Yeah.
And like it really does just depend on the parents, the way they were raised, their values, whatever it is.
True.
So I've like growing up, it was like a little difficult, but now I'm just like, those are my parents. That's how I was raised. And like it is a pretty common experience, but there are different flavors throughout the community. What about you? How were you raised?
I feel like mine was kind of different in that sense. And like I get what you're saying where like even if it's like an immigrant household, it definitely varies house to house. Because like a lot of the humor I used to see with like strict parents and growing up and not able to leave the house, I kind of replicated that on my videos, like TikToks and stuff like that, even though I didn't have that experience.
Gotcha.
It was weird because I felt like that's where like the likes and the relatability followed. So I kind of forced myself to be like, oh yeah, I would make jokes like, oh, parents will let me leave the house and strict parents and this and that and create those like bits. But it's not something I could connect to completely. And I'm kind of drifting away more from that, and like now my video is a little bit more about how I do have like chiller parents and kind of like owning that, you know, and being like, yeah, like I didn't have that experience and like that was just how I was raised. So my parents were academically, they were like, okay, we want you to do like engineering or like something that you could like solid, which was fine. They were all into like, you know, just doing well school wise, but I feel like I was my biggest critic and they alleviated that pressure because they knew that like if I got a bad grade, I would be the one that was crying and they'd be like, hey, it's okay, like it's fine, don't worry about it. Maybe it's being a second child. They were very strict, like a lot more strict with my sister. It's completely 180 with me, which I'm very grateful about. And I know I didn't do anything for that. Like my sister went through that like hardship. But when it came to like dressing, it was funny because my mom would be wearing shorter skirts than me. She'd be wearing higher crop tops than me. And people would be like, bro, you have such a like the cool mom. But I was like, it was a little weird to hear that term because I don't know, it really depends on like the context it's being spoken in.
Yeah.
But in that sense, or like when it came to like socializing or being outgoing, my parents really pushed that on me. They were like, we want you to like have that personality and be sociable and this or that. So they kind of molded me in that way of like an all-rounded child. And I feel like the pressure on academics wasn't always there, which was interesting. It was
seems
different.
Like a healthy balance though. Like they sound like they valued both your academic style, but understanding that you're growing up in a whole different world than they did. And so you're going to be a whole different person.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of it is like, it's kind of what my mom wanted to be raised, and she raised me that way.
I love that.
Right? And I feel like going on to the topic of like the way we dress and maybe like aunties or like older immigrant like moms and this and that, that, they judge us, but then deep down in their heart, they wish when I was growing up, I wish I
Yeah.
could have been that free.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like a little bit of that jealousy there, honestly, of like us being able to want to live that life that they weren't able to. So I feel like it's very difficult, and I get how it's weird for on them to navigate, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you feel about that?
No, I think it's super tough. And I feel like we don't credit like immigrant parents that much because like when you think about it, uprooting your life in whether it's your mid, later 20s, early 30s from one country to another, like you are crossing oceans, babe.
Yeah.
Like that is not an easy thing.
Mm.
And there was no financial security here for many of us, many of our
Right.
parents. It was kind of just like we want to do this thing and we hope that it's going to benefit future generations.
Yeah.
And so it took a lot of courage. And not only that, you coming here and you're having children.
Yeah.
How are they going to be like?
Right.
They're not going to be like the kids back home,
Right.
right? They're not going to be like super religious, super culturally bound because you're in a different playground essentially.
Right. Right.
And so I like a lot of the times, as much as I can have some like anger towards my parents for being like, oh, you're too much like this or you're not too much like that, I really have a lot of sympathy for them because
Yeah.
they're watching their kids grow up in a completely different world than they are, and they're recognizing, whoa, as much as they might be my kids and they are my blood and they, you know, they are me,
Right.
they're actually very different. And
100%.
so I sometimes I feel for them and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, it must be
Dude.
hard seeing your disappointment like grow up. Like that is so
Yeah,
tough,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
I feel like a lot of it comes from like realizing like your parents are human. And I feel like this is something I realized really later on because I feel like we put
Yeah.
our parents on like this like pedestal, and there's like so many expectations on them and so many expectations on us. It's this two-way street of like, you are human and I am human, and we're gonna make mistakes and we're gonna be
Oh my
stupid,
gosh,
and there's
yeah.
gonna be a lot happening. And I think that's where like the sympathy and like the just forgivingness comes from. Because in the end, the best is wanted on both ends.
Exactly.
Right? And so I feel
Yeah.
like knowing that end goal is there helps.
It does because
Yeah.
like my parents, as much as they've, especially in my artistic life that I kind of started indulging in my early 20s. I'm in my early 20s, but you know, late teens,
Which
early
is like,
20s.
yeah, we in the
We still
30s.
here. Yeah. My parents had a lot of fear about it because like
Yes.
the fuck is stable about an art career? Like nothing
Yeah,
about it.
no.
Not the work, not the income, not the people you're entertaining with. Like everything about it is so fluid and ever changing on
Yeah.
a day-to-day basis, good or bad.
Right.
And so my parents hold a lot of fear about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so even them like kind of letting go and be like, okay, she's going to live her life. She's
Yeah.
going to make her mistakes. I applaud them for that.
Yeah.
Because like that takes a lot of damn courage to let your kids just be who they need to be in this world.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. That's so valid. And like, I feel like a lot of us are like, oh, like they don't get it or this or that. Like they want stability or they want this or that. But then I again forget like they dropped everything and like moved across the world. That's the most fucking badass, fearless move
Yeah.
that one could make, right?
Yeah.
So like us kind of being like, well, this is the fearless thing I want to do, and this is like the badass thing I want to do, and then making them understand that because they got that inside of them. They
No,
otherwise
for
we would have been in a
real.
different situation, which is
Yeah.
completely fine and valid. But yeah, so I feel like it's just like the generations, like with each generation comes more risk, a different kind of risk and a different kind of lifestyle that wants to be achieved, and
Exactly.
that needs to be like supported if done in the
Yeah.
correct way. Yeah.
No, 100%. Because, like you said, they fought for different things so that we could fight for different things.
Yes. Say
And
that one
I-
more time for the people in the
They fought
back.
for different things so we could fight for different things.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
So it's just like, honestly, my heart goes out to them because, like, I remember my dad sometimes talks about his history and how much he came from a very lower income family, and he had to even fight just to get an education, to just get a job, right? Now, I never did that. We never did that.
No.
School was like, we just went to school because that's the thing you did. It was the law.
Yeah.
You have to go to school, you know? So I never was like grateful for an education, which sounds really shitty, but I wasn't because
No, I
I grew
feel
up in
that.
a pretty like fine household.
Yeah.
And now I'm like fighting for my artistic dreams, which wasn't even a capacity for my parents or our ancestors.
Right.
So now that we're in this realm where we can make those moves, just grateful for that,
It's
man.
I love, and that's what I want to talk about, like the gratitude that comes with this, because something that's been on my mind lately that I've been really thinking about is like the life we're living, whether it be loving who we want, wearing what we want, taking acting classes, doing what we love, that comes of like generations of like women and ancestors like fighting for that. Like we are like the living like embodiment of like so much fighting, like so many sacrifices that are made, and like we should like be so grateful and like live the life we want. Like if like people like hundreds of years ago, like people in our family lineage, whatever it is, like I'm sure they had passions and artistic things. I'm sure like that's always, it's part of being human. But the thought of like, oh, making this full time or like pursuing it wasn't there. Now that we're one of the first generations that can really do what we love and do all these things that so many people have fought for, it's just so powerful. And even on the days where I wake up and I'm just feeling dismotivated or like not motivated, unmotivated, whatever the fuck, I just remember this and it just instantly improves my mood. And I'm just like, like this is amazing how we get to do what we love and just be living this life.
I remember one time someone in the industry told me, like, whatever room you're in, remember the people that were in it before you.
Yeah.
Because that allows you to be in this very room right now.
Dude,
and that changed my perspective. Because sometimes I think it's so easy for us to like be hard on ourselves and like feel pity ourselves a little too much. We're like, oh, I'm the only one in this industry like this. Like everyone else has it easier. Like bitch, shut the fuck up. Like you are here. You are fighting. You will get your chance. It is coming for you. It is guaranteed.
Yes.
Enjoy the moments and enjoy the fact that your ancestors couldn't do it.
100%.
But you can. Exactly. And that's a big win.
That's a big win. You even being in that room is a big deal. So continue that so that more of people like you can be there.
Exactly.
But don't be ungrateful. Period.
That is it. Yeah. Now that we've kind of like discussed how we've been raised, looking back now that we're like 22, reflecting on our entire lives, how our parents treated us, even now, what would you say are some of the parts that you loved on how they raised you versus some of the parts where you're like, I wish I could have changed that.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a lot, and that's why it's like hard for me to like focus on one, but I don't know. What do you feel?
For love, I love the balance that we were kind of given. In the sense that, like, don't get me wrong, my parents were uber strict. But they were like, okay, we want to develop her artistically and we want to develop her academically. And so they went pretty hard at school. And like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't good at school. Like I had to cheat, you know? But I still did what I had to do. And I still pursued my artistic endeavors. So I never felt like, okay, I was like this like theater girl, like full time. No. I was like, okay, I'm a dancer, and I dance in the evening, and in the morning I go to school, and I come back and I do my homework, and like it's just like this ongoing like cycle. And 100%. So how that's bleeded into like who I am now is like I have my day job, I do my day thing, and it's a little artistic, but it's a job, you know. And then I do my art outside of that, And so as much as my parents, I'm sure were like, I wish he was a full-time engineer. That's not gonna happen. I'm not good at that. You know, they've provided me a balance where I can like support my life, and do what I want. To really, really do what I want at the end of the day.
100%.
You know?
That's so important because, like, I feel like the balance is, like, key, right? Like, my parents, sure, they're like, for school, you have to, like, they didn't put, like, say you have to do anything, but definitely there's, like, this underlying pressure where it's, like, you gotta do something a little sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, a little sexy major. So I was like, okay, bet. Like, I did do industrial engineering, right? But then on top of that, like, creating and this and that, and they were like, you are doing something solid, so, like, we support you in, like, the other endeavors that you have. And it's like, thank you. Like, because it's like I can't just completely do what you want. Like I'm going to do my own thing as well. And they were very appreciative and supportive of that. And again, it's like that well-roundedness. It's like having that balance. Because I feel like a lot of times, especially in the arts, there's this pressure where it's like you have to be, as you said, right? The starving artist on the street. I feel like that was a really good point that you brought up about like just feeling you have to do like 100% do the BFA, the Bachelor's in Fine Arts, like be like waitressing and then like doing all this struggle. I like what you're saying about like if you want to go into that.
No, just this idea that you have to be like, you know, the narrative that you see for people who are like really big actors and actresses now, like I was waiting tables, like my bank account had like $3 in it, and it's like our parents truthfully would not let us live like that.
No,
they would beat us up and like take us back home, you know. They just wouldn't let it happen. And so we're kind of like created to have this balance of, okay, we need to fund the lifestyle we want, and that means getting this type of education and doing this type of thing, which is a privilege, don't get me wrong, but like it's this idea that you have to like be 100% in your art all the time to be a legitimate artist. I just think it's bullshit.
And also like by doing these other pursuits, by the day job, the engineering, like having all these things, it gives us these strengths that just arts would not give us. And then having that combination makes us like a fucking double threat. And then we're able to like do whatever we want, right? So like it matters. 100%.
It really does. But now we're like, okay, we appreciate it. But what are some of the sides we like wish we could change
about it? I feel like the relationship with boys, right?
Oh my God.
That whole
the trauma with boys.
The trauma with all of that. Like the whole at 20, 21 years old, it's like, oh, you cannot even look at boys. And at 23, it's like, where's your ring?
Yeah.
Where's your husband?
Where your kid at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
make me a grandparent.
Right.
And it's like,
but then they never even talk about sex. They never even speak of like your body needing to go to see a fucking gynecologist, like taking care of your health.
Oh
like,
my God, the amount of shame with birth control, dude.
Yes.
Even for periods.
Right.
I'm just like, y'all want your daughters to just bleed out and die? Like, I'm so
Like, what?
confused.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want to be a grandma.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so
It's
disturbing
challenging as
and
fuck.
weird.
Yeah. Being their kids, it's just like, wait, so we're going to get shamed for having natural hormones, being interested in the opposite sex, or the,
Any
same
sex,
sex,
yeah.
whatever. And now it's just like whole 180. Like,
Yeah.
why are we doing that?
Like, and like, how do we not see that that's toxic, right? Because a lot of our parents, immigrant parents, they have the arranged marriage, which is fine. That was solid at the time. Like, that's what happened. And a lot of it, I feel like there's a misconception with this, which I want to clear up. A lot of times people are like, oh, arranged marriage means like you met the day of the wedding and that's it.
Yeah.
No, boo. It means that my dad's college friend brought home his son and I was like, he kind of cute. And then we went forward with it.
Yeah.
It's not so. And I feel like with Indian matchmaking, it kind of shows this whole thing about how arranged can be. I don't know. It gets all messy with all that shit. But like, that's a clarification that needs to be made with like arranged marriages. But like, now that we're in an era, it's like, wanted to do organically or fall in love, and like, what human wouldn't want that opportunity, right? So it's like, as parents, like, I'm sure you wanted that in your heart, so like, why can't you be supportive of exploring these things? As you said, like, it's not like someone turns 12 and then it's like, okay, this is what a dick is, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like that. It's not, that's not what we're saying. But like, helping explore when they're 16, 17, like, maybe like just talking about it and just making it normalized.
Being like, okay, you might be feeling those feelings.
Yeah.
And you might be interested.
Yeah.
And like, maybe let's not do it so you're not like pregnant at like 18, but like, hey, if you have those feelings, you can come talk to me and we can have a mature conversation about it. Because this trope that we see way too much that we're going to get into is this like, all right, being sexually suppressed for so long.
Yes.
And then you go to college and you're just like, all right, time to be a hoe.
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not healthy.
100%. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, with like the whole like strict parents like kind of situation and all that, I like to use the analogy of like a spring, right? It's like the equal and opposite reaction, like whatever the fuck. So it's like the more you like compress a child, like the more fucking crazy they're gonna go out. Like the more you hold them by the throat, because they have those needs, they have those wants, they have those desires.
Yeah.
The more you like really like grasp onto them and be like, no, you can't. The moment they get that freedom, it's gonna hit the wall.
No, seriously.
And it's scary, and that's when shit gets so toxic and not healthy, and it's scary.
Yeah, I feel for like children of immigrant parents, because for so long we were told like boys are bad. If you do boys, then you are going to straight to hell. We don't believe in hell, but you are going there.
You are going there,
end up there. And then they like go to college and they're doing all these things because like they want to. But I feel like there's also internally this type of guilt. Like,
yes,
oh my God, like, am I doing my parents dirty? Am I doing money dirty? I'm doing my ancestors dirty? Like, what? And then you just like never have a healthy relationship with men until like you're kind of forced to, because like shit's hit the fan. And like, what you gonna do now? You're in your 20s and you gotta figure this shit out. Yeah.
Right.
This pipeline, I'm so tired and sad of hearing it.
It is sad because it's like the women will not see like their worth, right? Or like this lack of like attention from boys in high school. Like maybe the glow up hasn't hit yet. We all know about like the famous like immigrant glow up, right?
Oh,
Get your eyebrows threaded,
wax your mustache,
hit the gym.
Oh my God, stop smelling.
Like, you know, and all of a sudden you feel like fucking Gigi Hadid.
Yeah,
and then like you know,
think you're that bitch. And
yeah,
you are.
Yeah, you are that bitch. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I'm saying, boo. You are that bitch. So stop like linking up with that musty man who doesn't even put on like deodorant.
The back of his car. Really, you deserve a bed.
Yes.
You deserve a bed.
Yeah.
Even if it's a twin bed, you deserve a bed.
Even if it's a dorm bed. That's what
literally.
But like, yeah, don't just like give it to anyone who's just looking your direction. Just because it's like, oh my God.
Men be smiling and I'll be like, oh my God, he wants to have my children. Like, yeah. Oh God.
And it's like, if only that like worth and like all that like was talked about in high school, like you like boys are gonna like you, but make sure you keep your self-worth. That's okay.
Seriously.
That's normal. But like treat yourself with like respect first.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever that means to you.
Whatever that means to you. Even if that's sleeping with everybody, just know those boundaries that are with the person. Just know like, okay, I deserve this. And like, this is like, you know, like whatever comfortable way that may be for you.
Because we told our daughters, we were the daughters, we've been told that you're not the prettiest. Yeah. You're not the sexiest.
Right.
And boys are not going to love you. That's what we learned growing up in America when fucking white girls were on the cover of magazines and we weren't even on them. You know, we weren't even talked about. And so then now we're like, oh my God, he likes me? Yes. I have to sleep with him. Yeah. What other guy would ever like me? And then you realize, no. I actually am liked. I am loved.
Yeah.
It's not that I wasn't beautiful.
Right.
I just wasn't white. And realizing that, unlearning that, oh, baby, that took like 7 years for me.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When it's the only faces you're seeing on like TV, like the only definition of beautiful that there is, how would that not fuck you up? Right?
Yeah, it's
And-
going to, inevitably.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like we fight so hard for representation, right? Because it's like, I went through this shit and my kids, the fuck, they will not. No, we doing morning affirmations every day. I'm beautiful. I am brown. I am beautiful. I am brown.
Yes.
Like everything, right? Like
Yeah.
that is something that's so important. And like,
is.
as we said, like the struggles, they get different as generations progress. This is our
Exactly.
struggle. Our parents had a different struggle.
Yeah.
Not to be compared with, but it's still a struggle that we go through, right? And then
No.
like generations to come, they'll have that thing. So it's just learning and kind of evolving with the times for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
We do this for our daughters and our sons because,
Right.
like, they will have different struggles, and we might not understand them,
Right.
but they ain't gonna have these same ones.
Yes.
Fuck no, we're not putting that on repeat.
Yeah. Exactly, dude.
Now, because we are 22, and we probably ain't gonna pop any Pop-Tarts out anytime soon. No. I don't got the facility for that. My
No.
paycheck can't even support one person. Nonetheless,
Can't
anymore.
even support the skincare.
Yeah,
like,
so we're not doing that.
yeah.
But imagining your future when
Okay,
you
okay.
got kids.
Okay.
What is some rules you'd have for them? How would you want to raise them?
That's a good. Okay, I think we should go by category for this.
Okay.
Like kind of like different segments. So like we'll start off with maybe like, okay, since we're on the conversation of boys, how would
Yeah.
you be with boys in dating as a future mama?
Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna be protective.
Yes.
Because like I am very much like I will protect you till anything.
Yeah.
You know, I will beat a bitch up. So yeah. For both my daughters and my sons, I will be like, okay, talk to boys, talk to girls, talk to anyone you want to talk to.
Yeah.
You know? But no dating or no taking anything serious until I'd say sophomore and junior year of high school.
Solid.
Yeah. Because I really want you to focus on just being a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just enjoying like the childlike things. You can
Right.
have crushes. Everybody's got crushes.
Everyone.
I got crushes right now. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like it's normal. But just like have fun.
Yes.
Be chill about it. Cause like once you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, your life changes a little.
It does.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers the first girlfriend / boyfriend.
100%.
It's a learning experience.
It
But we just
is.
don't want it to be a traumatic experience. is the
No,
thing.
I don't want you to be crying about it every night for the rest of your life. Like,
Right.
no. Yeah.
Exactly.
What
No,
about you?
I agree with that completely. Introducing the topic, I want to be like the mom that like my daughter can come home from school and be like, oh, like, give me a random name. We'll say Bob. We'll say Bob.
Bobito.
Bobito.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Bobito like was like sat next to me during lunch. Like Bobito gave me a little bit of his like Gatorade, and I'm like, okay, like I want to be. I don't want to be like the mom that's a friend, because that's weird.
That-
I feel like that shit's just
No. You still gotta be a mom.
and
Yeah.
this respect still gotta be there.
Yeah.
But still, just like feel like you can share these things with me, because I'm gonna give you that adult perspective, but I'm not gonna like hound it on you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'll be like, okay, just be careful, Babito. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
don't
like,
get too close to Bobito.
yeah.
Like, just like, you know, maybe hold Bobito's hand.
Yeah.
But like, don't hug Bobito. You know? Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like that's like a good
Yeah.
level to it.
No, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
What about with like school?
Oh, I feel like nowadays, see, like for us, like university was not even a question, right? It's like when
Yeah.
you're right after high school, you got to do it. But I
Must.
feel so many things are happening nowadays where people are shitting on it. People are like, you don't need it. A lot of jobs aren't even requiring
Yeah.
it. So it's so hard to speculate how things are gonna be like then, because I feel like shit's already fucking going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I kind of do support the thing where it's like if you want to do something a little bit more risque, a little more unstable, just have that backup option.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah.
something, and it doesn't have to be STEM. It can be anything, but just something where you have something solid in a job with a backup plan.
No, exactly. I think
Something like
backup plans are, and especially because like we have like comfort backup plans if you think about it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know we don't really necessarily want to be doing what
Right.
we're doing in school,
Right.
right? But like, it's still like a very comfort level
Oh, yeah.
job.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not out doing a lot of laborious, intensive things to get the check, you
Right,
know?
right.
So I want to teach my kid the same thing too. Like, have your dreams.
Yeah.
Please be a dreamer. Like, I
Right.
will force you to be a
Yes,
dreamer. You
yeah.
know, whatever your dream is. If you say your dream's a doctor, yeah, I'm gonna be like nerd. But like, you know, it's fine. If you want to be a doctor,
Yes.
save lives, okay,
Yeah,
cute,
whatever.
whatever. Yeah, okay. I want to be an actor. It's like the same thing. I save people emotionally.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Like,
Yeah.
same shit. Mine's harder, if not, whatever.
Seriously, that white coat. Like, what the fuck? It's just so stupid.
Bitch in the white coat.
Like, okay, it's not even that cute. But like, I want my kid to have like different faces to him. You know, or
Yeah,
her.
her,
Like, what do you
yeah.
want to do?
Yeah.
And like, because as if humans only have one desire in their
Come
heart.
on, yeah.
Come on, we have different interests, we have different hobbies. So I would just support them like, okay, here's maybe like a more traditional, more charted plan, and where's your uncharted stuff? Where does your head go
Yes.
to? And that I honestly think the uncharted stuff takes a bit more courage.
Yes.
It takes a lot more bravery.
100%.
And I want to develop that in my child.
Absolutely. I want to teach them, like, don't be scared of failure, but be terrified of regret. Right?
Yes.
Like, that's something that it's like, it just needs that, like, fearlessness, that, like, go-getter shit. Like, no matter what you're doing, if you want to be a fucking pastry chef, be the best damn pastry chef there is.
Yeah.
Like, go for it. But, like, that, like, thing of, like, just, like, pushing them to, like, the limits, and that will always be there. Maybe that's an immigrant thing, working hard, like, work hard, play hard thing, but I feel like that should never change.
No,
I love that.
I love that too. And like you were saying, I've never looked back at a failure and been like, oh, I wish I like avoided that failure.
Right.
I've learned from every single L I've taken.
Yes,
you know?
dude.
And I wear them on my sleeve, on my heart more than I wear my successes. Like, yeah, my successes are great, awesome. We can like cherish them, whatever. But my failures are really what made me as a person. As much as they hurt, as much as they burn, oh my God, they shaped me. But I've looked back and been like, I wish I'd done that.
Yes.
You know? And that's right. You don't want to live with that regret.
Right.
Chase it. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, people talk shit about you. People are always going to talk shit about you.
It's like that. It reminds me of like the whole Hassan bit, like the Hassan Minaj bit, where it's like, oh, log kya kahenge? Like, fuck log. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, the fuck that mean?
You never heard of that before.
No, bitch.
It's like, okay, in Hindi basically it means like, what will people say?
Oh, okay. Log kahenge, yay. Right? No? Okay.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
You got it. But yeah, so it's like fuck what other people will think. Fuck the societal pressures. Fuck all that.
No, seriously, because like, honestly, dog, the one thing I've learned is that people will always talk. They always will. They bored. They're stupid. They have nothing else to talk about in their lives. So they're going to pick up whatever material that they can catch on from other people's lives through social media, through drama, through WhatsApp groups, and they'll talk about it, you know? So no matter what you do, good or bad, greatly done or poorly done, they're going to talk. So you might as well just do what you want to do and really give them something to talk about. For
Period.
real.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other rules you have for your kid?
We talked about what? We talked about dating.
Yeah.
We talked about like school shit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about curfews?
Curfews. I never had like a set curfew.
Okay.
But if the sun was setting, they'd be like, where you at?
Okay.
You know, like, why are you not home yet? Yeah. Even now, like, if I'm out too late, like, and it's dark outside, my mom be like, all right, just, like, drive safe. And if there's, like, a man on the street, run him over. And I'm like, Shawty, what? Like, why do you think I'm just gonna get kidnapped at every second of my life? Like, very protective. And I would tell my kid, like, school nights, get your ass home. Like, I know you got clubs, you're gonna be doing stuff, so get home, get some sleep. I hate that, like, culture in, like, college and high school of, like, 4 hours of sleep and you just gotta hustle. No! You are so unhealthy. Go to bed.
Yes.
I'm like gonna make sure my child goes to bed early and wakes up early because I want them to be healthy and I just want their minds to be functioning well. But other than that, I'm not gonna be too strict. Like the weekend, go out, have fun. Just don't do hard drugs. Don't do ecstasy. Do weed. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I'm not a normal mom. I'm a cool
Yeah,
mom.
I'm a cool mom.
No, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
100%. That's so true. The whole thing of like, oh wait, actually there's two versions of this. There's one bitch where it's like, oh yeah, I slept for like 4 hours, like I'm barely functioning, like whatever the fuck, like I don't even know what's happening. And they're the ones who were literally, no. I think that's the first one. Yeah. They're like, oh, I don't even know we had homework, slept for 4 hours, doing whatever.
Yeah.
There's a second one that's like, oh no, I slept so much, like, I don't even know what's happening. Like, well, we had a test, I didn't even know, and they were the ones studying all night. Those
lying ass bitches,
and always Asian. It's always the Asian
You're
one.
so right.
Always.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wait, we had an assignment. I will for be dead ass. I'm like, we have an assignment. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't know. Flashback to them, like at 4 a.m. I'm like memorizing every single section of that. I'm like,
I didn't really study. Like, I think I'm gonna fail. Gets an A+.
Yes. And I'm like, you act.
So you acted stupid. Whereas I really am stupid. Damn. You just stole my character.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, that's so
it's
much.
whack.
Like, it does such disservice to us dumb Asian kids. Like, why are you gonna do that to us, bro? Yeah.
We're on the same team, fam. Like, don't do this to me.
Just say you're smart and let me copy off of you. Bro, another thing that I experienced growing up, oh my God, people would think I'm smart. Because, like, I looked ugly. I was, like, a little, I was musty. I wasn't ugly, but I wasn't hot. I wasn't in my element. Yet. I was getting there. I was fermenting. Like kimchi. I'm getting there. Yeah. So, I was, like, very nerdy looking. And I had my glasses on. People always be like, oh, like, let me copy you. Let me do that. And I'm like, why do you think I have the answers, nonetheless the right ones? Like, we are both gonna fail. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part about growing up. Like, you think I'm
so
smart?
funny.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. It's kind of like a compliment, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, what? Like, I remember once, I was taking a test, and this was like sophomore year or something of college, and I'm sitting down looking musty as hell, glasses, ponytail, like whole thing, and I'm just like sitting, and this guy like looks around, and he just like sits next to me, because I had like a note sheet, and it was like fucking size 6 Times New Roman.
Ooh,
like, I was like,
yeah.
you know, I was like, because I didn't study, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, copy paste the textbook, like put everything on there.
Real, that's what I always do.
And he's like looking over, and I'm like, homeboy, you and I both confused right now. Like, do not be, So
you
I
can't
feel
think
like,
I'm smart because I'm running all this. If I knew it would be in here. Like, seriously.
Right, exactly. So I think that's so funny, though. That's actually
so hilarious. I'm gonna tell my future kids, you're not doing that shit. If you dumb, just say you dumb. If you smart, just say you smart. Like, it is fine. Just be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's solid. Yeah, and then weekends, it's like, do whatever you want.
Do whatever
type
the fuck
thing.
you want.
Yeah,
like, you know, be free, be you,
free.
but also don't get pregnant because shoddy. I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, like be safe. Don't get a girl pregnant. Also, that shit. Don't just tell your daughters to be safe. Treat your sons. Tell your sons to treat the girls right.
Yes.
Because like I'm sick of that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like keep it in your pants, nasty ass.
Seriously. Oh,
no.
you smell.
Yeah. There's like this one lady on TikTok who like posts this like all these like different things. She's like a mom and she has a little chotu son.
Yeah.
And she's like, teaching my son self
yes, I know what you're saying.
skincare. So like your future daughter won't have to justify. What was the other ones? Like
one was about like being sick a few days out of the month, you know, the period. So he doesn't just have to like muster through it.
Yes. Like teaching my son to be patient so your future daughter can get ready in peace.
Yes.
Like all these things. I'm like, I love that. And those blow up because it's the first time we're seeing like it's not only like teach your daughters, but like teach your sons.
Seriously.
And you're a woman. You are a mom. Teach like this is your son, right? So it's like you know what we're going through because you went through it, bitch. Like how just do it.
No,
please.
seriously, yeah. I love that. I love how we're building up our sons, our brothers to be great men. And we're telling our daughters to do the same thing so they can be complimentary to each other. Whoever the fuck they want to be complimentary to, treat them all good.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yeah.
Deep talks.
Deep.
So, Shri.
Yeah.
What would you say is your overall lessons learned, your motif, one may say?
One may say that, yeah. I would say for myself and for literally anybody, no matter how you were raised, strict, non-strict, very close to your parents, do whatever the fuck you want, drink vodka on a Tuesday, it's fine. Whatever it was, your experiences are valid. And your storyline is going to stay true to you. So don't try to look at the other side and be like, but they got this and they got that. And like, that's what is calculated for success. No, the fuck it ain't. You have everything you need at this moment, you have it in this moment. I know it might not seem like everything, and you may need this and you may want that, and you may want to be grown up like this and grown up and treated like that. But no. Your story is true to you. So really pay that homage and just follow your storyline, follow your journey. Because I know there's so many times I looked at other families and been like, damn, I wish I had that. Yeah. And now I'm like, no, girl, you have everything you need right now. And it may not be perfect. It may be like a funky story, but it's going to be an interesting story.
Aw.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks, girl.
Yes, dude.
What about you? What's your lesson?
No, I very much like agree with that. And like, I think my thing is just like one step, like little, like just like after, you know, understanding that, it's like, be the change that you want. Like, say you did want this or that growing up, like, be like the positive way. It's like, oh, I'm going to be that parent then. Or like, I'm going to be like the change that I want to see, right?
Yes.
So kind of just making that like a little botanic, just a little full circle. And I love that.
Be
though.
the
Like,
change you want to see in the world.
Yeah,
Gandhi
exactly.
said that, right?
Yeah.
Mahat? I don't know. Magandhi? No?
I don't know.
Is that his name?
I like tweet. Mahatma. That's what I was like. Mahat?
It's my boy Mahat. Yeah.
But no, like absolutely. I love that. And just like be true to who you are, like all the authenticity, all this and that. And like just trying to find things to be grateful about.
Exactly.
Right?
Because so many people fought for where you are right now.
Exactly.
And that's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So where you're at right now, okay, no matter, don't look at your neighbor, don't look at the other person across the lawn. Where you're at right now is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Comparison is like a thief of joy.
Yeah,
literally.
Don't do it. It's
don't
the
do that.
worst habit ever. Yeah.
And they say, I think there's like vibrations associated with different feelings that we have as humans or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I think people usually think like the highest vibration or like the most like brightest vibration or whatever I don't know exactly what it is, but they think it's happiness and then the lowest is hatred. But the highest vibration is actually gratitude and the lowest is jealousy. So I think it's like even one more step
Damn.
beyond like hate and love,
Yeah.
which I feel like is so powerful. And like I feel
Yeah.
like the most successful people are the ones that find things to be grateful about,
No
like,
matter
throughout their
what.
journey, dude.
Yeah.
Like no matter the fuck
And it's
what.
not being grateful about when things are going well, right? Like, oh, I'm getting everything I
That's
want.
easy.
I got that hot boy. Like,
That's
no,
easy.
no, baby. Be grateful when your face is in the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying, like, don't cry. Bitch, I cry.
Yeah,
I
right.
cry. I'm a Cancer.
Yeah.
You're a Cancer.
Yeah.
We cry a lot.
A lot.
And I'm always
No
thinking,
toxic
like,
positivity here.
oh,
None of
fuck
that.
no.
Yeah.
Cry, vomit, shit. Do all of the basic human necessities, but also be like, this is the part in my story where things are getting juicy.
Yes,
Things
dude.
are getting good.
Yeah.
And things are going to work out for me.
100%.
Because they are.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
Period.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.